Good morning. I just want to share some really great news. I'm going to share my screen with you because I'm just going to give you some numbers. I do a lot of research on sales in this local area in the Temecula Valley, and I just try to keep my clients up to date on what's going on. So I want to share some information with you really quick. This is a snapshot of a screen of one of the pages. What I did was I pulled up all of the closed sales between mid-March and today so that I could just see, how quickly things are selling, what prices are doing, and I want to just show you a little bit of this. This is just a handful of the homes that sold, and this is fairly typical for what you see in the sales statistics as you scroll through closed listings. So if you look down this list, you'll notice a lot of green arrows, and those green arrows mean that each of those homes sold above the original list price. That's the closing price. Those little red arrows are indicators that those three properties on this page sold below the original list price. So the buyers negotiated a lower price or asked the sellers for concessions. Somehow that closing price ended up being less than the original list price. And then if you look over to the right side, this column that's labeled DOM, CDOM, this is days on the market. So days from the time the home was listed until the seller accepted a valid purchase contract and both parties signed. So that's 1 day and 2 days all the way down the list. That's just incredible. And we're going to talk about all of the factors that play into what's going on here in the Temecula Valley, and that we're seeing a little bit of a seller's market and something kind of unusual considering the crisis that we're in right now. And I do want to start off with this crisis is affecting so many people in so many different ways, and I want to be sensitive to that. But I also want to make sure that people are aware that if you need to sell your home right now, there are ways that we can minimize your risk, and we are having new tools made available almost daily that make this process really easy to do remotely. So we are getting to the point where we can literally sell homes without people going in and out of them. So we've been, appraisers have been authorized to do drive-by appraisals if buyers or sellers are not comfortable with the appraiser coming into the home. They can use our listing photos, they can use comps and other tools to get the market value of that home. And so there are a National Association of Realtors is working on, and California Association of Realtors working on getting virtual or online notary services approved so that signings don't have to be done in person. And I think a lot of changes are happening to our industry that are going to make this process really easy for those people who roll with it, who are able to adjust. And so I want to share with you some numbers, some good stuff. When I go through the sales from last year and I compare them to this year, kind of how long homes were taking to sell and what they were selling for, I want to share those numbers with you. So let's start last year. In the month of March last year, we closed 297 homes in Temecula and Murrieta. So if a home sold and it had a Temecula or a Murrieta address, we sold 297 of those, and the median ranked for days on the market of those homes was 32 days, and the median sale price was $445,000. But in March of this year, we sold, and I want to point out, February and January were also higher than last year. We started out really, really strong this year, but in March of this year, we closed 337 homes. So that we were up, 40 homes. It's about a 13.5% increase on the number of homes that sold in March versus last year. And then the median sale price went from $445,000 to $473,000. And the really interesting thing is days on the market went from 32 to 13 in March. That's awesome, especially considering what's going on and what was going on during March. And then let's look at April. So in April, we closed 340 homes last year. This year we closed 254, and that's a pretty substantial decrease, about 25% less, fewer homes we closed. And but or sale price, closing price went up. So we went from 468,000 to a median sale price of 490,000. So it's a pretty substantial increase from April of last year to April of this year. And then the interesting thing was, though, days on the market went down to 11 days, even faster. Then let's look at May. So far in May, and let's compare with last year. Last year, May was a great month because April was just crazy. We were having people multiple bidding and all kinds of stuff going on in April. We closed 444 homes last year in April, or in May, I'm sorry. This year so far, we're just past the halfway mark. I ran these numbers on the 18th. So on the 18th of May, 2020, and I ran them fairly early in the day. So I'm going to assume that it got better as the day went on. We have so far in May, this morning, had closed 135 homes. Now, the thing to keep in mind, along with those 135 closings, is that we've got about 350 pending properties. So properties that have accepted a purchase contract and they're just in the process of closing or working at closing. And the thing with a lot of those, a high percentage of those have been in escrow already for over 30 days. And the reason for that is we're a little bit backed up. We had a lot of lenders delay closings because of funding delays, and that's a whole nother video. But because of the number of pending properties we have right now and the number that we've already closed, I think it's safe to assume that we will close somewhere between 300 and 350 homes by the end of May. And if you look at if we compare last year to this year, so that's down, it's less than last year. We had a big month in May, 444 homes. This year, if we close 350, that'll be about a 21% decrease in the number of homes we closed. But the thing that's really the kicker, I think, here when you compare all of this is the number of homes that are actually on the market compared to last year. So number one, the days on the market is getting shorter and shorter. Well, so far this month, we're at 12. 12 days is our average for May. So far, we'll see at the end of the month. That's just crazy low. That's like a 5-year low, 11 and 12 days on the market to sell a house. But the really crazy thing is last year at this time in May, we had like high 1,500s, almost 1,600 homes on the market for sale, actively for sale. Where this year, right now, today, I ran the numbers this morning, we had 479 active listings. So less than a third, we have like 30% of the number of listings we had last year for sale right now. And we are only down, we're selling 80% of the number of homes that we sold last year at the same time. So if we've only dropped 20% in the volume of sales, in the number of closings, but we've dropped 70% in the number of actual listings that are available, what does that say? There's definitely a supply and demand issue. So I guess with that, the takeaway from this that I'd like you to have is that if you're one of those people that has to sell your home right now, there are ways that we can minimize your risk, and I want to assure you that your value for right now is still there. And I can't see the future, but if you're one of those people that knows you're going to need to sell within the next year or two, if you're getting ready to retire, or you've already retired or had to retire because of this job and know that you're going to be downsizing, just know that right now Right now, what we're seeing is that homes are selling above list price. I'm working with a couple buyers right now, and what I'm experiencing is that when homes come on the market, we're making an offer based on a virtual tour, and we're competing with 4 or 5 or 6 other offers. And it's a tough thing for a buyer, but for a seller, if you're in that position where you need to sell, timing may be really critical. And I want to give you a suggestion also, and I'll try to wrap this up. I don't want it to be too long, but know that if you need to sell, who you sell with is really important. Having a professional realtor right now is really important. You need to protect yourself against um, potential lawsuits. I mean, there's some crazy things going on right now, and there are a lot of new disclosures that are legal requirements now that need to happen if someone's going to enter your home and during that process. But also, one of the most critical things for you is that your home is priced right. And what I'm seeing is there are a lot of realtors who are not working right now, who've just stopped and have waited. And we are needing to advise our clients of the risk of this virus and the risk of its spread. And if you are someone who feels like you need to not have people enter your home at all, that you don't want your home on the market, then we're going to put it on hold. But if you're one of those clients who needs to sell, you need to have a realtor who knows what's going on in the market and knows how to price your home. Because underpricing your home right now would be a huge mistake, and you would lose equity that you would not need to lose. So I just want you to know that I am working. I am a professional realtor. I've been in this business since 2005, and I'm very familiar with the Temecula Murrieta area. I've raised my family here, and I've lived out here since 2001. It's a beautiful area, and one of the factors I think that has contributed to why the values here are increasing while we're seeing values in other areas decrease, and it's very regional. When I do that sales research and I look at particular areas, I pull up, some of the more dense populated areas, some of the bigger cities. Across the board, we're seeing red, those red down arrows. And part of the reason for that is so there are a lot of different factors. We have a fairly substantial military population here, and those are people who have not been put on hold. Basically, they're still having to work, they're still having to move and be transferred, and those homes are still being bought and sold. But also, we live in an area that is less populated, and I was reading a poll recently that about 30% of people in densely populated areas who were polled expressed an interest in selling their homes and moving out to more rural, less populated areas, and we are one of those areas. We have less smog, less pollution. We have really good quality schools. This is a very new area, and so most of the homes are newer. It's a very low crime rate area. It's just a really desirable place to live, and I think those are some of the factors that contribute to why these homes are still selling and the values are still going up. And I don't want to make any promises because I don't know what's going to happen over the next few months. But if you are one of those people that's concerned about selling and interested in doing that, I'd be happy to answer your questions. You can reach me at 951-375-6373. Again, I'm Kayla Nebeker with Realty One Group Southwest in Temecula. We work with a large group of agents. We've got marketing meetings every week, and we work very closely with networking with each other to help our buyers find properties and to help our sellers sell. We're well versed in social media and virtual marketing, which is something that's going to be really, really important going forward over the next year or two as we wait for the vaccine to be developed for this virus. I'm sure that precautions are still going to need to be taken, and we want to make sure that we do the best we can to kind of stay on the cutting edge of ways to market your home. We syndicate all the material that we put on the MLS to hundreds of websites. We market nationally and internationally. And we use a lot of different social media platforms. So I'd be happy to share that with you anytime. You can check out my website at kaylanebeker.myrealtyonegroup.com, kaylanebeker.myrealtyonegroup.com. And on that website, you can do your own custom home search. Nobody's going to call you and bug you. You can just check out what's on the MLS. You can also get your home's instant value. And one of the things that option does is gives you what your mortgage principal balance is. It tells you how much you've paid in interest since you took out your mortgage or any seconds that you have on your home. It will tell you what the current interest rate is and how much you would save by refinancing, and also some different strategies to pay off your home quicker. It also gives you some scenarios. If you choose that option, find my home's value, you can choose to get this report that gives you what your investment options are based on your equity. If you choose to take some of that equity, invest in properties, if the real estate market starts taking a dip and maybe it's a good time to buy a rental property, it can give you some of those scenarios without actually having to talk to a person. So if you want to do that, check it out on my website, kaylanebeker.myrealty1group.com. You can find me on Facebook, Kayla Nebeker Realtor. You can also find me on YouTube, Kayla Nebeker Realtor. And I'd be happy to speak with you. Look forward to it.